So you say I gotta make sure that I want to make sure I didn't set this to. I got all my videos off children. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus, for letting. Because I already know. Would have been like, look at this pervert. Oh, not only has he got all these extreme views, but it's okay for Aaron and all them to have them, and I'm not even close to those guys. They would say now he's going after those children, and we want to push these transgender books and stuff and all that, and he has no say in that, but Emmer would probably say something similar, maybe not out loud because he's making a lot of this, so he might not say that. But Emmer or Lewis, they make me look like a little Boy Scout singing choir boy, and I'm not even them. I'm in the middle. Maybe that's what's really pissing them off. I guess. Hold on, where is? Let me make sure I don't have this set for allow live chat. What is that? I want to make sure that I don't have this set to uh, children. How do I turn that off? No, this set is not made for kids. Okay, great. Thank you. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, because you know damn well they would say, look at this pervert. He's a pervert. He's talking about, and you know what? Then what they'll do is they'll say, this guy is saying transgender books shouldn't be shown to his children. I ought to be able to decide if my child up to the age of 18, well, probably 30 now, but at least 18 according to the state law, and you say, don't you think I ought to have a right to say what books my children read? No, because we're the government. We're in charge of the re-education system, and we know best. And so I'd be a pervert for saying that. That's what they're a master at deception. You're a pervert because you're talking about sexual books that are up at a library that I have no control because my children go there after school for after school. They have to go there to meet with the people from the school. And they just happen to wander over there, but I have no right to say, look, we are a Christian family, a Jewish Christian family that says I don't want my children raised with that. And yet you got some stranger saying it's okay, but yet I'd be the pervert, guaranteed. Now, yeah, Emmer might agree on that, but then he'll turn around and say, well, he's a deplorable anyways, have at him, right? Same thing with Michelle Bachmann or all these right wing, yeah, hardcore. Maybe that polar bear over there, probably too. Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. They're just I'm not right wing extreme enough for them, I guess. So I'm a deplorable with a low skill set and a Bible, and some pretty bad luck for some reason since I moved up here. Remember, it's like so you say finish the story. Well, you're like, so you think, well, maybe you're not happy, but you're thinking, hey, maybe the water's not going to come in. It's just going to gather out there. And so you try the linoleum. Nope. Same thing. Flood, water intrusion. So now you had two carpets, one linoleum. Yeah, you think we're getting a little frustrated? Can you imagine trying to invite a gal over here and then try to Oh, so and then I go through 2 years, right? And that stuff that's in that Zantac, you take enough of that, it'll show up even probably a little bit. It can show up as a false positive. And she knew that. And what did she do? Did Shannon? Remember how I told you a little different? They got it. They're just scared, and somebody likes to see me in handcuffs. Not that prick over there that smokes pot and listens to that nasty, filthy music with his drunken mom, but me, and drives that Cadillac and go, but you got it. He go, nobody cares about him, right? But they're after me. So I go down. I gotta go down to Stillwater now for some reason. Why am I going down there? I was going up here, all because of the color. Back then, if you first start out, they want to keep you real close to the jail, when you first start, so they can frame you and you don't have to go real far to get you. How you put you right there is why they do that. So I'm taking that stuff from my stomach, and I tell her, and I'm already knowing, and I'm sick, and it's true. And I end up having a surgery later, so I'm not lying. Go look it up. That was painful. Talk about dislocated shoulder, powerless. I forgot about that. That's pretty bad. A lot of people have experienced that. I mean, there ain't nothing worse than having lava in your guts. You wonder why I don't want to have a drink? Or any marijuana around here? All this I've been through, I never again. I mean, I'm old enough now. I mean, I could have a heart attack. They could give me the Breitbart heart attack, or I could have my own heart attack, right? It runs in the family. Remember that guy up north? He got that place next to Sarah Palin's house. Well, they moved now, but George, he was in the Air Force. He was one of them gun guys. He sell guns. Remember that? Yeah. So he died early of a heart attack, but he was a big guy, real big guy, full-blooded polar bear. He'd eat that guy across the street, guarantee it. He'd just look at him, and that polar bear would start running. Look, so you say, oh, so Shannon sat out here eating jelly donuts with powder dripping off. Yeah, she'd always come up, and then eventually she'd knock on the door after about 3 hours. She'd be all out of donuts, frustrated again for like the 50th time, thinking, how can this be the only? Because I won in dodge. There was only one guy in dodgeball. I remember that free throw? I was in the free throw in the room every morning, me and Scotty Clark. You wasn't going to get me ever. And that's how sick people are. They get their jollies off. She couldn't believe it, that I wasn't stupid enough with a felony. I'm facing bow and arrows and butter knives for the rest. There ain't going to be no dresses, no sticks, no fishing. I know that. It's just this woman think I'm going to leave my house when I'm not supposed to go get some beer or something. I mean, I don't know what kind of, I know she's used to dealing with these retards over here like that, but, I'm from kind of down there a little bit. I just moved up here. Yeah, so it really kind of frustrated me how much she sat up there. I got them binocular things. No, I'm not looking at little children in the park, reading my Bible, watching the loons, the dogs, the animals. Did you ever one time look at the children and like to like arouse yourself? And no, what? Are you sure? What do you got those bananas? You looking at the children, aren't you, Nick? No, never. Did you ever park down on that end? No. Wow. You mean you didn't go in the bathroom and realize, oh yeah, if you don't want your testicles cut off, you should probably like go to the bathroom. And you wouldn't do it anyways because you never did it. But I'm thinking these other guys, like if you ever come in here and you're a weirdo, like up at the library, hey, you got a half a kingdom, and if she's got her daughter over there, uh, her polar bear husband's gonna come and cut your testicles off. And they, oh, by the way, you see that lock there? Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they all got one, and they just walk by, and they forget. All of a sudden, everybody's got amnesia. You know how that works? Yeah, remember that? Yeah. And so I'm like, I got these binoculars, got to look at loons and member stickers on people's cars because I'm an honorary member in the FBI and an international spy. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Pretty awesome. And you're thinking, okay. And so you're wondering, why is this woman got such a, why is she always trying to, why is she so sick wanting to go after me? She gets me down there and I'm sick and I'm taking that medicine and I knew it was bad because I'm waiting to get a surgery. I was. And that was the only thing. That's right. The Nexium had stopped working. I was waiting because I had, during that probation, I'd gotten a surgery. And so I was taking massive amounts of Zantac to try to, probably laying in a fetal position, like half the kingdom got me there. And did you learn your lesson, or do you want me to take off on you? I'll give you one more chance now. I'm gonna let you out of that fetal position. You know I'm half the kingdom here, and Nick, come on now, come around for me, Nicky. I know you don't want any more beer, honey. You want the milk and honey and the dress and the sticks, right? We're gonna go up there maybe sometime in the future. Yes, honey. I will never make you mad again. I'm sorry. I'm there, and I'm like, I gotta have a surgery, so I'm taking all these pills, and I'm like, so I get down there to Stillwater, and there she is. She got her. She forgot to wipe her face again. She got that powder on her face. Remember Shannon? Eating her donuts, waiting for me, and she knew it. Now you'd think a reasonable. Never. You've done doing these UAs for a while, right, Nick? Yes, Your Honor. And you say, well, have you ever been disrespectful other than now? No, Your Honor. And so, did you ever give her any attitude? No, Your Honor. I was fully aware of the gravity of the situation, that not only was I fortunate to get only do regardless of the amount, just a tiny bit, that the fact that that is a controlled substance and a felony, Your Honor, that I was lucky to have Leona come and like get me out like she was gonna marry me, or two, her buddy there, the other guy, the other CIA guy, Edward Anthony Ho, that guy, and you're like I was really thankful that he got me off again on one weekend. He got my probation transferred. He got me okayed to the pilot program. He accepted me into the pilot program. I've already dealt, I know how hard nosed these people are. Okay, remember that? I've met the guy, remember the polar bear that keeps the key for under the jail when they really get mad? You know, that guy Hoffman? Yeah, I met him. And okay, so I got an idea here. We ain't playing around. Right? I'm not that stupid, right? And so I'm taking this serious, Your Honor. And okay, so you would think it would be reasonable, right, Your Honor, if you haven't had a dirty you and you thoroughly explain, except she's been stalking you outside her house for obscene amounts of time, waiting like the detective Whitey did for 8 hours, waiting for me to text so he could walk 6 feet and go, hands on the car, buddy. You're going to jail. Remember that? Yep. Because you were reading your Bible, listening to KTAs way on the far end, watching the lake like you did the last 100 times. Yes, Your Honor. And you say, oh, this is a lot of bad luck. And you say, okay. And you go, you think it'd be reasonable that you tell her, look, I got this surgery and I've been taking all this, and I did look it up. It's a I'm a little concerned it's going to come up as a false positive. And you tell her, and of course it does. And you think an average probation officer would say, okay, I'm going to send it in for a second testing, and we'd clearly see that would work it out, and you could go home, and I wouldn't terrorize you with all them punk little polar bears over there on short time looking to start a fight with a guy who's, you know how to. I've been there. They like to start a fight so then they can get you on something. You catch a new case, and I'm thinking, please, Shannon, I didn't do this. I wouldn't do this, and there's no way I would risk it. And you've been outside my house waiting for me to leave when I'm not supposed to, for obscene amount of times, eating donuts, and now you're gonna lock me up. Oh, she put me in jail so fast. And I call up Tony, of course, and I'm saying, hey, and I'm worried because I don't want to catch another case, right? And I got all these little punks over here wanting to take my garbage out and call the police. So obviously I've got more reasons to worry. And Tony helps me again when he shouldn't have had to. He makes a couple calls and he's like, let my guy go. And they finally did after a couple days. Did anything happen? Well, you gotta know how to, you gotta know how to make sure so something don't happen. And it was, and what else will happen, Maya, they were making it very complicated too, because, and if I remember strictly that the nice lady, I was there for over the weekend or something, and they had taken I had no way to even call Tony. And I think the lady was so nervous when she was bringing me I think I had to order. I had some money that when I came in with or something, or was that one of those times that I remember that. The nice lady, she was so nervous she dropped it. Because she knew if she didn't get it to me, that I wasn't going to be able to make a phone call. And then there's probably a bunch of people that didn't want me to make a phone call to Tony because that was the only way. And I don't remember if that was that case or the one, but I clearly remember her, the older gal with the brown hair. She was bringing that phone slip that I had to pay on the books. And you could tell she was, thank God I got that day. I can't remember. I'd have to really think. It was one of those times, whether it was the time with Rick. It doesn't matter because it all played together. I can't go back there. Well, I don't want to go back there. I never did. And that guy, that polar bear there, he knows all the polar bear lawyers and all the polar bear judges, and I know, and them little punk polar bear over there. And so I just want out. I don't want to do this anymore because I don't want any trouble. So, anyways, I was really grateful that day, man. I tell you, when that gal, because you got a lot of people against you for whatever reasons, and she bought me that calling slip, and it was late in the day. If she hadn't have got that to me, I was waiting till Monday or something. I remember saying a prayer for that woman. Don't know her name, but man, I'll tell you, I was glad to see her. I remember that. She dropped she was so nervous even bringing it to me. And, those are little things I remember that maybe some people don't care about, but, and so you said, well, big deal, whatever, keep going, boy. And you said, well, so I finally had made it through there, got out, And then after that, she still did too. She couldn't believe I could go that long. A guy like me would know that I would never leave my house. And she still asked her. If she was honest, she'd tell you. She said, I mean, she put obscene amounts of time waiting for me to either go out when because you had to sign up for your times for when you go to work and when you go to church, and you could go out to get groceries for like 2 minutes. I swear, she was out there every day. Oh, I mean, she was like just waiting to arrest me. I'm not even kidding. And I don't know why. I never had anything against her, but boy, she wanted me. Mean. I mean, mean. Shannon. Hmm. And them ones up there that do the UAs, they are. I don't know why they're so mean. I guess they're running a system, remember? Money is part of it. But why they're so mean about it? Why they can't naturally let people screw up and they're so mean. I mean, mean to everybody pretty much. Maybe they lightened up finally way at the end of this the smidgen, not much. You knew if you even any lip bread, huh? You even look at 'em funny. Put your hands behind your back. We'll figure this out later, huh? Yeah, you already know. Way overboard. They said, well, don't get in trouble, boy. You don't want to wear the pink. Yeah, but this is different. I mean, this is probation. I mean, they are mean. Like, disgustingly mean. Nowhere have I experienced any of them mean. Mean. So I get through that, right? And I'm very, very, very thankful. But so he gets me, what was it, a 152.18 or something? So if you made it, go out, they dropped that part, and I still had you can still see it that I was charged with that. But I mean, you wouldn't know. You could think it was trafficking. It could be an 8 ball of crack. Who knows? But there was a tiny little. So there was that 10 years, and then right, and then here's the big problem. And if seriously, you said, well, it'd be better to have something. No, not anymore. Because if you get to the point where you feel like, what did I do? And if I call my lawyer, I'm harassing a guy. A guy I'm paying to give me my documents. Look, if I'm a lawyer, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna charge you. I'm not gonna. If I know you like to ask questions, I'm gonna charge you. I'm gonna a little bit more. If I know I gotta spend a little more time, I've dealt with you. Regardless, I don't care if I gotta add money. And probably if you're me and I kind of like you and you got that cannon down there, I'm just gonna be like, hey, you got some like you want to talk for a while? I got here. Ask me your questions. Let's get you on the same page, right? When isn't that the lawyer's job? When a guy starts getting a little nervous with a felony, the other ones, hey, whatever, here's your money, thank you, whatever, don't bother the guy, right? And so I'm very thankful, very grateful when he got me. But I had to do the work too. I had to put up with Shannon. I had to go to jail when I didn't do anything. And I had to call that number for 2 years. Remember that? Never failed one UA, pissing in cups, left and right for 2 years or something. I mean, they never let up on me, not even for a moment. And it's stressful because, if you go in the afternoon and there's a problem, hey, there's like a tornado come, you're going to jail because you were on this list, you didn't show up, it doesn't matter. So you're out, you learn quick, you're in the morning. If you got a UA, you better go in the morning no matter what, right? Yeah, because in the morning, they got to go through whoever's there. In the afternoon, you learn real quick. Sometimes that's different. You go in the morning. I don't care what you got to do. You get a UA, you go in the morning. You get it done. Right? Yeah. And so you're like, okay. And so you get to that, and you're still dealing with the floor, right? And then I think so. Rick, was it? I don't remember if Roxy had gone yet or if Sherry came later. Don't matter. But I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. And so, excuse me. And so you say, well, so I'm on what? I've been dealing with this, and I'm starting to see they come out, and I had already done my driveway, and I learned later that, hey, maybe when you got the driveway pulled up, remember that? Hey, that skirt there, that ain't much further. Oh, you did that too? Well, so maybe you ought to just go down 6 feet and take that plastic there and tack it against the wall. I mean, we don't have to do a real professional job like across the way where you brought in a backhoe, and I mean, you did a real professional job. And later they tried to tell me that those people paid $12,000 or some crap, and I don't believe that for one moment. The polar bear did that. He got his all done. I don't believe that he paid for that. I mean, they regraded everything, and they had rocks. They went around both them buildings right across from me, and they all moved in after me. And they did a couple. They did a couple like that somewhere else too, and I understand there's like a balance. Like, hey, I mean, if we don't have good people in the neighborhood and we don't have good, we have to keep people happy. And so that's why she told me at first, Roxy, she's like, some people have had to just, either in their house create drain tile, or they take and, the sub pumps, but then and I understand, like, if we don't have a good neighborhood, then the price of value of everything goes down. I get that. But the thing is like, again, I mean, I've been here long, I've been asking, you're tearing up my concrete. That's probably the time to go in there, right? I mean, how much more? Give me a shovel. You won't bring in I'll go down there and dig it myself. And then put some plastic up on it. Let's do something. And they just kept blowing me off. And again, I'm starting to feel like everything we did was for naught. Because if you come in here, the drywall basically has to be all redone, right? Because you got the water damage at least 6 feet, or I mean 6 inches. I mean the whole place. And then you've got my counters, the water damage from the kitchen. You might as well just, the bottom 4 inches is all water sogged. You might as well just replace them. To have a guy like Phil, who works for my mom in the red truck, the nice Phil guy, right? Been doing all kinds of work for it, goes to the church up there. Phil, yeah. To have him come in and do, you might as well just replace it. But then when you start talking drywall, then you're into the countertops, and then you might as well just gut the thing to the studs. And so you're like, well, I'm not going to do the floor, and then you're like, well, you're seeing these guys. You're like, okay, well, if we've got look, I'm not totally retarded. I understand, like, in order to keep the value, which how they figure they're going to tax me, anybody in this place, at 220. Like they said, like for tax purposes, they're saying the value is 220. Yeah, okay. And I understand, like, all right, buddy, but guess what? If we don't have nice neighbors with regular jobs and not these punks across the street, then the value in the neighborhood's going to go down, and we might as well just walk away, right? I got that. I understand. Okay, so we want to take care of people that are normal people and families and nice people and got good jobs and can pay the association fees. I understand that. But I've been here for 10 years, remember that. Okay? And I've been through all that, and you turn up my concrete a couple times, and I'm starting to figure out, hey, one of these times, don't you think we could do what you did over there? I mean, I didn't ask you for any special thing, but if you come over here to rip up my concrete, hey, I know I never did figure out how to send them rockets to the moon, but I thought, hey, this might be a good time, y'all. I mean, I kind of been waiting a while. I understand Polar Bear got they got some pretty gals over that way, and hey, go ahead, whatever. But hey, can you maybe get around to me so I can maybe invite a gal in here or something someday? Hmm? Can I finish this flow and figure out what I'm going to do with all the mold now? Brother Moldy, huh? Before the neighbor lady starts getting sick and saying because the mold is going now, because I can't finish that till I figure out what I'm going to do with the drywall, and then I got that. Why should I go in there if I'm going to just walk away from this place? And then eventually, if I don't do something, it's going to start creeping up her wall, and then she's going to be like, I'm out of here. So what do you do? And you're like, hey, before I do that, right? Would you just do what you did across the street? Please, something. Why is Shannon trying to throw me in jail? Why? Like, you see, I can be a sarcastic guy, but I never failed a UA. I moved up here to be close to my mom, and the rest is nobody's business. I moved up to be by my mom. I'm an average guy that was trying to finish school and work, whatever. And I go to the library and study. And somehow these problems for a guy that really, did you do any of that cocaine or find any of that in the last 10 years since then? Absolutely not. You ever did it? Okay, fine, whatever. Really bad mistake. And then you say, well, these people probably better people, and yeah, okay, you're not that guy over there, but these people are, so we're gonna, okay, fine, but then you come up and tear my concrete up and leave me with this, and it would have cost another couple $1,000, and they try to tell me that they paid for it. To me, at this point, these are from 1987. The odds, I don't know how long these are going to last, honestly. I mean, I know a little bit about I know, especially on a golf course, depending, these are getting pretty old. Remember, they got that nice one across the street there. You remember that thing they got? Cole Emmer calls it eminent domain. Yeah, I know that's unlikely, but sometimes it happens. And I'm thinking, they might come in here and say, guess what? We just feel we don't have a whole lot of places to work in for us that can, we want to put some new stuff in. Here's the money, and you got to go. So you got to consider that. I don't know exactly how long or when or possible that could happen, right? I think. I don't know. Maybe not in a town. So I'm considering that just from how much money do I want to put in this? How much money is worth? I don't, with what's gone on in this town with me and that prick across the street, is there any more pricks that I'm going to have to deal with? Any more Shannons for no reason? Any more polar bears that where I make a few average mistakes? I mean, I think this is a crazy world. And yeah, I think if you watch my videos, I did a pretty decent. I'm not making excuses. I'm giving reasons. And I'm admitting I've done a lot. I pulled a lot of crap. And thank God somehow I managed not to get a felony. And I'm trying to keep it that way so you know it. The fishing is pretty good up that way. And sometime maybe if I stay in Minnesota, that's the direction I want to go with. You got it. Half the kingdom, but she's going to have to agree sometime to put that dress on for me and get them sticks out. Or I'm probably going out by them white balls with my dad. Because after 10 years of this bull crap, you're like, I am never being in association as long as I live. I don't care. Ever again. Never again. I wanted out of the only reason I stayed here is because of my mom. I tell that story. Daly, John Daly, y'all don't remember the American Dream, the guy. He was kind of like me, probably. I mean, but that guy was wild. And because he was John Daly, right? He didn't get it. He didn't get charged with nothing, and he was all hammered and probably snorting a bunch of smack one night. And the older U.S. Golf, you remember them guys with the little white balls? It's like, hey, Daly, we know you're kind of pretty good. You're on the sort of doing that. We know you kind of drink a lot, but you're gonna have to drive here all. You're not gonna get any sleep, but you can snort your coke on the way and drink your beers because your buddies are with you. And, you've probably been up for a couple of days too, right, John? Yep. You wanna play in the U.S. Open? Sure, that sounds like you guys want to. Yeah, let's go. It's going to take you about what 24 hours to drive here or some crazy thing. We'll see you when you get here. He gets there 5 minutes before it starts, ain't showered, goes out and wins the U.S. Open. Yeah, I mean, if that ain't an American dream story, I don't know what is. Pretty cool, right? And so you're watching an interview, and he says, remember that thing? I try to take them little things like when them gals bring you that phone number, because otherwise they're going to railroad you back down to Olmsted County to the pits of hell. And Shannon's going to be, the jelly donut's going to be dripping off her while she smiles. Yeah. And you barely get a hold of the guy that you're pretty much saying, we're not going fishing anymore. Yeah. And he didn't never wanted to go fishing. Yeah, that guy. And you're like, and John did, and so you're like, you remember them little things that people do for you, like Leona? Holy mackerels! I mean, I don't know if she was in town, man. Right? You're like, hey, thank you. You wanna? John Daly says, they ask him this here. Is there anything you regret? We know you're drunk, you like to snort coke, and you really, really like naked ladies, and all your exes live in Texas and all that. But John, and we know you're not all there, really. We're not going to admit you to a hospital or anything, but because you won the U.S. Open and all that, and usually the cops look the other way for you, and you dress pretty cool, and you're a pretty cool polar bear. Is there anything you would change or anything you regret? And he said a few things, and the one thing he said was, Well, I was kind of into my drinking, remember that, the beer. When my mom started getting up there, and that's about the only thing, because all this other stuff's been fun and this and that. Not my dad, nobody else, just my mom. If I could go back, I would have been at the end when she was sick or she was starting to die. I would have made sure I stayed close to her and tried to be there. What, no matter how much it was, or you know. And I never forgot that. And I thought, well, I don't want to be this guy that I came up here for nothing. And I want to have good memories, especially with my mom. And so I remember that because when I'm sitting in the chair like my grandpa Harold up at Grantsburg, Wisconsin, where he was born. Remember that place? Remember Gary Holmberg? Remember him? 5-time world champion, uh, watercross guy. Yeah, I hung out with him for a few minutes too. When you're sitting in the chair and you're thinking, hey, you figured out you didn't need a duck call. At least you got up there on the court and did you probably were supposed to do a layup. You did a free throw and you tried, but you weren't stupid enough to go looking for another duck call. And then your mom, you were there for your mom. And you tried to get that gal in the dress and have her get them sticks out for you once in a while. That never did. Oh, hey, you did what you could, man. Enjoy and sleep every night knowing you did what you could, right? Get old with dignity, knowing you ain't got a whole lot of regret. You tried. And that's the way I see it. Like, hey, you tried, and if it don't work, but if you sit down there and you're afraid to get up with Leitner and shoot a free throw their whole life, you never even know. But then they start pulling out this stuff and lying, and you're like, hey, we're going to the downs. What's up? And you're like, what you got to lose? Because you're coming at me anyways. So I'll go ahead and tell you how it is. And yeah, sure, I got to tell you all the bad stuff, but I'm going to tell you, hey, I want to be there for my mom, or I'd have been gone a long time ago. If my mom calls me and says, I'm sick, son, this is different. Mom's been telling me she's going to die every day for 3 years. I'm like, yeah, Ma, I know you're going to die one day, but it's not. It's coming. It's going to happen. I hope it don't happen for a long. She been doing that double fisted with the coffee and the cigarettes. You remember that? So I hope it's 15 years, but she's not the healthiest gal, right? And so if she calls me and I'm out I'm somewhere and I don't get back here in time to give her a kiss and a hug goodbye, I don't want to be John Daly or somebody, anything similar. And that's why I stayed, or I would have left a long time ago after dealing with Shannons and those probations and these animals, pair boa bears. And now my own lawyer that I really, really like. I'm trying. And I'm mad and hurt. Okay? And I don't want my mom to come and son, this is different. I don't feel good. You need to come over here now and give me I don't care what those little punks across the street say about me no more. I don't want any trouble, and if you get enough of them guys, they really hurt me, sure. But if my mom calls me, I want to be able to give my mom a hug and a kiss goodbye because I was an only child, and I love my mom. Otherwise, I'd have been out of this crap hole, pits of hell, long ago. And that's why I started going on vacation, and I decided to go downtown and start thinking about going somewhere, because that was back then. You know, I figured there's at least 5 years before mom's gonna die. Maybe I ought to go somewhere. And so I thought, well, I started looking around and end up on a plane with the Minnesota Twinkies and all that. And then I'm out there. And I'm there at this floor here. I can't invite no girls over here. I mean, maybe I can go see my dad. You know, the restaurants finally can't work for my aunt. Studying accounting, going to school. Never really ever did get along with Leslie because she always didn't like me. But I don't care what you people say, anybody in this world, you only get one mom. And I was an only child with no real brothers and sisters growing up. I'm pretty sure my dad might have a few too. I might have a few half siblings somewhere. Pretty sure I'm not his firstborn. You know, he was kind of this here. Can I come sweep in your bed? Yeah, he was one of them probably. You know, but if I don't apologize to anybody in this world. That's my mom. And I can't imagine living without mom. Even if we don't have a relationship, the idea that you never get to hear her voice is like, I never forgot that one, John. And I know he didn't quite mean it like this, but I love my mom. And so that's why I stayed here. The only reason. Believe me. Because if you think I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm not. I seem like it, but I'm not. Yeah, I would have left a long time ago, okay? And so I'm sick of this place. And you say, well, you know, whatever, man. Like I said, I'm pretty sure if you met half the kingdom and you got all these jobs, why don't you get old Emma on the horn and that guy over at eBay? They bring them phone back jobs back here instead of making me talk to somebody in North Libya that I can't hardly understand that's giggling at me like that guy over at North End of Beginning Community College gonna go down the thing and get me arrested by another guy just like him in my backyard. Remember that? And all because I'm simply saying, hey, don't you think it's reasonable if you get out of the way of people walking? Never mind what I think about your religion and your magic little prayer rug there. I don't care, but would you please let us walk here? Not because I'm a jerk, because that's whether you're Buddhist or anything, do you see anybody else doing this? And you're doing it on purpose. Just like they keep doing stuff on purpose. Why? It's got to be because we all like naked ladies. Okay? We just do. And why everybody's got a hard on for me, I don't know. Because we're all pretty much the same. We all put our pants on the same. There happens to be a whole lot of polar bears up this way, and they don't seem to like me. And now apparently my lawyer was just like, I guess I was just supposed to realize without saying something that he really couldn't do a whole lot. But I did not like the ethics of it. Okay? Because when it's butter knives and bone arrows, and your only dream left because the alcohol and all that baloney, no, there's no happiness. Especially when you got a bunch of polar bears with a boner for you for 10 years, you start to figure out this is all you got. You ain't perfect, you struggle like everybody else, so you're still going to sin. And then every time them polar bears, they're going to get their boner on and try to get you, even though a lot of them got the some problem. And then you're going to call that guy who's gotten you out of everything, and you can give him another $10,000. No, not quite, because he's giving you a discount because he knows your mom, and she's helping you probably pay for it a little bit, right? But this time it's a little different, right? Because if you watch my video about Rick, it's basically, if you can't figure out why a guy, and I'm worried about 5 guys, so they come here at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, right? Wake me up with that no notification. You remember that? And I go out there and I'm kind of like, well, geez, remember that guy that I wanted to wait that hour and a half to go in that cell that first time with that big old dude with give him those 6 eggs? Yeah, I'm like, hey man, why didn't you guys? You woke me up now. Hey, do you mind? Okay, who's in charge? Can we do this right? You're gonna put the drain tile in, right? No, we're gonna regrade this for the third time, but this time we're gonna go out to the road. Oh yeah, that's gonna help. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I've kind of had enough, and I blew up. Did I have any guns, knives, or bombs on me that I uh, threatened or showed anybody or brought out or anything? No. Why? Because you're smart enough to not get caught by Shannon. You're smart enough to not ever have a dirty you in. You're smart enough to realize when they get you by the short hairs, you don't play with these people up here. You're smart enough to realize all kind of stuff. So no, you didn't do anything stupid because you're not mentally ill, right? You're not certifiable. But you just got punks like that across the street that keep messing with you and false, like whether it's the library. I'm thinking they just jealous of my hair at this age. Y'all wish you had the nice hair like I do still. Or something. I don't know. Because for that to keep happening, yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. I mean, if this is gonna happen to Forest Lake, it's the more north you get, probably worse it gets. Probably, I'm just guessing. Even though I spent most of my life up that way and all that, probably guessing that. But you can't go down south that way too much either, because remember down there in that Lauren Parkway is all paranoid about them homosexuals. They don't like that Bible, and they got the boom boom too, and you gotta watch what you're doing down there, especially nowadays. Remember that. So you're like, damn, what do I do? Where do I go? Hmm. So you're like, are you gonna fix mine like across the street this time, right? Yeah. So I can get a gal in here, get this place fixed up once and for all, so I can stay here. Cause I ain't gonna stay here if I gotta put a bun. Why would I? Why would I lose money if I ain't even got half the kingdom? I'm gonna sit here and go in the hole with no equity after all this? Yeah, then you'd be certifiable. And you're saying no. So you're saying, well, you're gonna fix it like you did across the street? No. Well, can we put some plastic or something up against that? No. I'm like, where's Rick? And yeah, I had a really, really bad day. Disorderly conduct. That's it. Period. End of story. No terroristic threats. All I said was, remember how I watched, remember Big Don? Heads are gonna roll. He said it quite a few times in The Apprentice. Yeah, that was on for like 20 seasons. Oh, and I probably only started watching it when, remember? I mean, if it wasn't my daughter, I mean, look at her. So I'm thinking, did he just say that? And I'm thinking, yeah, she's pretty. She's awful pretty. And this was before Jared was on her. And I said, yeah, this is okay. Now I'm gonna watch this show, right? She's pretty. And then I hear that, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, you heard that. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'll watch the Apprentice and listen to Big Don. Say heads are gonna roll. And I'm pretty mad. And I go out there with Rick, and I never met the guy ever. He was new, grounds guy, never seen him. That's not domestic. Number one, in order for it to be domestic, it's got to be family. So it's not really even fifth degree domestic. So it's not that, because that's butter knives. That's obvious. We all know that, right? It's butter knives. No, you don't know that. You don't know that unless you look. Remember that toss? It's about that thick. And a guy like me, it takes you about 2 weeks to read and find. You're thinking, well, your lawyer he's probably done that before, right? He probably knows that. I mean, he's got a cannon down in his foyer in his office with Wagner and McDonough. He knows that, but you don't know that because you didn't go to law school and you ain't never had one of those before, right? That, right, right. And you're thinking. So you go out there with Rick, and you've had enough, right, with this floor, remember? And yeah, you get loud, but you're kind of loud, right? Like maybe the only other guy that can drink more beer than you is Kent Herbert. I'm thinking Kent Herbert can probably, but remember he's about a foot taller and about this much wider. Yeah, he could probably yell louder. I was pretty mad. I was determined to be louder than him. He was yelling loud, and he was getting in my face. Again, you watch my, we locked horns. We just bumping chests. Oh, so you mean you didn't have any gun or pull out a gun? No, I didn't. Did you have a knife or pull? There might have been my pocket knife, and did you lift up your shirt to show him, hey, you threaten anybody? No. So the only thing you said was what? Yeah, you said, oh, and that was right as he's decided to leave because you're yelling louder than him because he won't fix your thing for the 15th time they're in there. They fixed it across the street, and you finally right. This is 10 years. All right. We got our neighbors. Would you do it right? So I got it right, and you're finally like, and so you've had enough, and you're yelling. Sure, I yelled at him. I'm the one that's more mad, so I get louder. And as he's leaving, I say, heads are gonna roll. And he brings in, they come and they said they got the bullhorn. I never heard nothing. So those guys had it angled just right. Thank God I looked up. I'm sitting in here like a church mouse. Because I'm figuring the police or somebody probably going to knock. And I'm thinking, as long as I'm quiet, I'm probably going to get a summons or something for yelling or noise ordinance or something. Something. You're not going to take a Bearcat and drive it in. So that's just another setup of something that should have been fixed. And he's tearing up a concrete for the third time. And he still won't fix it. I'm kind of at the end of my line. Yep, for sure. No equity. I'm not going to put that kind of money into this place with the windows rotting. The deck's about to fall off. A lot of work. I ain't putting all that money into this. And I ain't even got half the kingdom. Forget about all the dress and all the other stuff. I can't get a gal in here. I'm getting old. I've had enough of this. Can't put a floor in. Got mold in the because of all the water. Now because of the other one, the water's going in there, and now the mold is building up. And they want a few $1,000s to clean that because imagine trying to go around in those pipes. But you don't got the right tools, and I don't want my. I mean, it is a nightmare that I didn't create. Only the devil himself could have created it. And the fact that they could get away with it. You say, well, you're a dummy. You take the bait. Well, you can't think evil is that great. And you think finally, they're gonna fix it or you're gonna get something and you get mad and you kind of lose it. You get it's disorderly, absolutely. Terroristic threat after everything I've explained to you, and I swear to God, I've told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And they bring a Bearcat, the Tri-County SWAT team, they shut the school down and the golf course. You got to be kidding me. Nope. All for me and that punk across the street is a pothead casing my place with that rap filthy music. And his mamas are drunk and there's a polar bear over there ready to eat me now. All because I finally thought, hey, I got half the kingdom here. Gonna give this a little go after about 15 years ain't talked to a girl. You finally get the carriage up. You don't want to. Leitner's saying, come on, buddy. Yeah, if you don't do this, you're gonna be wondering the rest of your life. Yeah. And you're like, hey. And you get mad at Rick and they bring in the SWAT team and they almost shoot you. And they're ready to kick all the doors. They got their next door here and there. I mean, y'all gotta find something to do. Do you not like? Don't try to tell me you don't like naked ladies. And you know what? And I bet you there's a couple that like them little sticks too in the dresses. And you know what? So finally, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I look at my phone, and finally, the nice guy. Remember that gal that brought me the thing, the phone card? Thank God, I could tell. He's like, Nick. And I'm thinking, yeah. He goes, you're gonna have to come outside. And I'm thinking, why? He's like, dude, bro, just come out with your hand. And that's how I realized we were pretty fast. We got a problem. I look out the back, I can see a guy behind the tree pointing a rifle at me. So I quit. I'm thinking, whoa, boy, this is a little bit. I can't hear he says, they said they on the bullhorn. So they either got a bullhorn that makes it sound like, so if you got some neighbors, I mean, they've done this before, so they probably know how to angle it, right? They've dealt with this here a few times, maybe. So they probably got it so it sound like anybody, like that pair of polar bear over there watching. He worked for the task force undercover DEA. Who is he? And you say, hey, it look like they're doing it all by the book, eh? Got the bullhorn. Everybody can hear it out there, but they're all crazy scared because there's about 500 law enforcement from 3 counties. And you shut the school down because I'm yelling about this. Nah, that ain't about that floor. That's about the devil. It's something else. And you say, I didn't hear one peep. I'm in here like a little church mouse hoping they just, and they're about ready to kick the door in and shoot me. Because if that guy wouldn't have called or I wouldn't have seen it on my phone, that's what they were going to do, and you know it. Thank God he called me, and he's that nice guy, that FBI negotiator, hostage guy, who just does that job so that maybe he can help God decide who gets executed or not. Yeah, that guy. And he says, you gotta come outside, dude. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is bad. So I get my dogs. I'm thinking, hey, maybe they won't shoot me if they see my hand. You remember, hands up, don't shoot. I'm thinking, maybe if I got these dogs here, they'll set them at ease. And then maybe I won't get shot because I get outside and there's at least 20 of them with rifles in their things. And then there's another 300 right surrounding the place. And that guy's had the audacity. Remember, Matthew's boyfriend wants to tell me that this here, they were considering that as, hey boys, you think we can get that on too? Hey, that's what he's saying. That there looks like a weapon, boys. And remember that old Matthew? Matthew, and a little other pencil neck that's talking to him. He's about this tall. He says, "Here, Matthew, hold my gun while I checked it." Okay. Matthew's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, no." And the guy's kind of like, "Matthew, if you're a good boy, you might make the SWAT team one day too. You hold that gun like a good boy, and let me change the cuffs way too tight." And he's like, "Do you think, Matthew, should we charge him with, should we put that on there too?" Mm-hmm. This here. I've kind of had enough. But I survived. They don't shoot me, probably because of the dogs. But I don't want to go because of Mama. You think, well, mm-hmm. You think for sure this ain't a felony, right? Well, of course it is, because they hate your guts and want to shoot you and they want to murder you. They couldn't, so now they're going to try to just continue to ruin your life. Forget that punk across the street. And you say, yeah, terroristic threats, butter knives, bow and arrows, buddy. And you're thinking, wow. So you call your Lincoln lawyer, Mr. Ho, right? And you're thinking, hey, this ain't felony. So what? He comes up, right? He says, this is a little different now, buddy. I mean, we've done this one. We go to court, this one, huh? Oh, I finally bail out, right? Spend the whole weekend this time. There's no Leona. Oh, Ho's not available. Thank God bless Michael McDonough. And of course, old Hoffman, the guy with the polar bear with the key, right? They don't want to let me out. Why? Well, I think we should wait for Mr. Ho, even though you work with him and you're his assistant. And I feel like this guy should sit here some more because he is mad about that floor and didn't threaten anybody. And I just don't like him. Remember that? And you're like, okay. And you start praying to Jesus. Because old Hoffman, he's red as a fire engine. And there's smoke coming out of his ears. And he's saying, I think we should, Ho's on vacation for another week or two. We'll wait for him. Michael, God bless him. And he's like, well, no, I think it's okay. And Hoffman says, okay, well, put a bracelet on him. And if he moves, shoot him. He goes more than 6 feet. Right? You take hair, blood, and your firstborn. And, you're back in them UAs with Shannon. And, we'll see you in a little while and Ho. I'm like, okay, thank you, sir. At least you let me out. Thank you. God is real. Oh, and I'm praying. Remember that? I pray. And I can't believe he let me out that day. And I don't think I deserved all that. I yelled in public, real loud. Didn't punch, push, nothing. Didn't do anything really different than Rick, except I've got, like a couple guys at a party where they get in each other's face, yell at each other that I've never done, but I've seen, and a couple bulls locking horns or something. What they did, you can understand. I want to go, but I don't want to leave my mom. And I want to be able to give my mom a hug goodbye and a kiss so that I can remember that. So when I'm sitting in that chair, I know I tried. I know I don't need a duck call. I tried to get half the kingdom, and I said goodbye to mama. And with that, I'm okay with this for the rest of my life. Because I tried. And every time I tried, something like this happened. And they got their jollies, and they got a boner for me. And I don't know why, and I don't know what else I could do as a human being to prevent it. All I can think of is Satan. And you say, well, you got a lot of stuff there, and please, yeah, but half of it is all baloney. So you call up Ho and you say, hey, buddy, can you help me out with that cannon there one more time? He says, well, we'll see. So a little different. And I'm starting to sense that, you know, he don't like this one. Or so this one's a little different. Like maybe I don't know. And that's how it happened. I didn't pull out any guns or knives. I literally swear to God, I wouldn't be that stupid. The only time I would ever do that is if somebody pointed a gun at me or something. Or somebody broke in here and pointed a gun at me. Yeah, okay, I'd get my axe and try to defend myself. I'm not stupid enough to go out in there with Polar Bear Rick, who knows every polar bear since 1920. All I'm trying to do is get this flower fixed. And he starts yelling at me like that. I did something wrong. It's been 10 years or 8. What? It's been a long time. Now it's 10. Yeah, I deserved disorderly conduct for sure. But given the context of all the problems we got, what they did to me, and then it happened again down in St. Paul, you just can't make this up anymore. And you wonder why I'm telling you, look, don't you ever bring none of them filthy drugs, anything around me ever again. And I don't ever want to be around a drop of alcohol. Because I ain't playing with these polar bears. Because after everything I've been through, forget it. I'm done. If the devil's going to get me, God himself is going to have to say, go ahead, devil, go pick them up yourself. Because I ain't going to give y'all a reason. I can guarantee that. And I'm saying, that's the truth. And I would have been gone a long time ago, like I said. And so you call up Ho. You figure, well, you give the guy 5,000. He makes a call, one phone call, and says, all right, what you got? All right, okay, I got a guy yelling. You got any proof that he pulled? No. Other couple guys saying he had a knife or something. Doesn't sound like terroristic threat to me. Why don't you just, hey, we all know this, drop it to her. So the best they do, right, is the 5th-degree assault. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm Anthony Edward Ho. I went to I'm the Drake Law School. I work for Wagner McDonald Ho. My wife is really, really pretty. I got some really pretty girls. I drive a really nice car. I know what this means. You know how that goes. And I'm thinking, yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, so what does this mean? What this means here, boy, is remember that how some of them other ones is a little different. They seem to be after you on this one. I made a call. That's the best they can do. But that's the best they'll do right now. This one's going to take a little more work. Now, if look at me, right? I'm kind of Asian and whatever. My girls, they're really pretty, right? She right there. Yeah, I see her. And remember that she's one of them younger. I don't know. Yeah, that's your daughter. One of them things. Like you heard that before, right? Just a nice, polite. Yep, I understand. You drive that BMW and you got that cannon down there, and you look pretty cool. And you've always got me out of trouble. He's like, you know where about this is down, right? This is my territory. If you go out towards that way and see my face out on that billboard towards the casino, that one there that you got in the, yeah. If you get down here, well, you see that Wagner guy. Oh wait, he's not here. Oh, McDonough and them. Yeah, you see them polar bears? I work for them. Okay, so they're kind of my friends. And usually, if anybody gets in trouble down here, I talk to the polar bears, and then they talk to their brother. And usually, I can cut a pretty good deal for the right price. But if you can't tell, we're about 100 miles from where your thing happened. And I don't know any of those polar bears really. I've been up there a couple times and I've done a few cases, right? Yeah. And you're looking at me, right? I'm not a polar bear. Yes, sir. You're thinking, look down there. You see that there, son? Look, I think you're kind of annoying. Your mom is kind of, I don't really like you anymore. But you know what? Ethically, I'm your lawyer. So here's the deal. I can either just withdraw, you can go find a new lawyer, or you can be nice to me and I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Which one? Well, you got that cannon and you've been really good and you're really cool. And I really do. I think you're not, you could probably be on GQ, man, back when you was younger. And I'm like, I'd like to proceed, please. He's like, okay. And he goes, all right. Again, I'm kind of not really, you know, that other guy, your cousin, the 25-time felon, likes to burglarize my friends' houses and stuff. And your mom pays me to get him out of it every time. And I kind of like him. Oh, yeah. You mean the guy that goes in the hospital when his mom is dying and says that he wants to kill a cop and a black guy? Yeah, that one. He's stupid enough to. The only place with more microphone surveillance and audio than a ICU unit at a hospital is probably an international airport, I'm thinking. I'm not an international spy, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express, and I sure would like to get a gal in a dress with them sticks and go fishing up that way. But what's going on here, House? And he says, okay, you're annoying me now, and I don't like you really anyways, but you're paying me. We got this thing called ethics. And I'm saying, okay. He says, I'll tell you what. You go outside, and I got that BMW there. You just go outside and wait for me. I'll be out. Okay. So you pull up, and he's in a Mercedes. He says, let's go for a little ride. And I said, okay. He says, all right. I got you in the car, and I'm pretty sure this is my safe car. I'm pretty sure nobody's listening here. I left my phone there, and you got yours right. So it's just me and you, and I'm your lawyer. And I get paid to tell you what all this means here. The $10,000. And I don't necessarily like you or agree with you. Remember the whole thing, how I taught you. If it's not a happy, what did they say? Going to trial with a lawyer that believes that your lifestyle is a crime in progress is probably not a happy prospect. But again, I got most of the money. I'm gonna need a little more here. But I'm gonna tell you, these polar bears do not like you. If you can't tell. And so that's why they're doing this. And I know you kind of figured that, but if you look down here at this fifth degree, that ain't no really different. You know how you want to get that gal in that dress and get her some of them sticks and go up that way? Yeah, you're not doing that with that right there. That ain't no different than that felony, really. Except you can go to prison for that one, and that one there they'll keep you for a year in the thing. That's the only difference there, and that there is bow and arrows, butter knives, buddy, forever, and they want to make sure that that's what that is. But I'm your lawyer, and I like your mom, and I don't really like you. I think maybe you'd be better off with this bow and arrow here. But I'm your lawyer, you're paying me, and I'm in a car that nobody can hear me. And I'm telling you, I don't know exactly what, but I'm going to need about another 5,000. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the horn with old Wagner and them, and we're going to see if there's any way we know any other, maybe just one of our polar bears can talk to their polar bears and see if you could maybe work something out. And I'm thinking that's probably we're going to be able to get that down to something where, it's not bow and arrows. I can't guarantee it, but they don't have nothing, so we have to take it to trial. That's why I need that extra money. And I got to make a few extra phone calls. And I don't really want to do it, but I'm already into it, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna make you go and think that you're getting a good deal here on this fifth degree, because it really, like I said, it's one is the big house, one is county, but your life, that thing you've been telling me about, and how you're this nice guy and all this, uh, yeah, ethics. And you say, okay, well, thank you. And you say, well, I'll get you your money. And you say they don't have a whole lot, but you remember that's their polar bear country. That's a little different. So if they don't have nothing down here, I just get old Wagner on the horn and it's over. Up there, I got to maybe find a little polar bear to work with us, or I got to do a little extra work, or maybe I might even have, if I think, depending on the judge. And by the way, uh, I know you asked me to get you in front of a different judge, but we got that polar bear again that got that key under the. Yeah, I couldn't. I never even tried to get a new venue, but I asked you 3 times. I said he's the worst judge. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna call him up and tell him we're going on vacation, and we're gonna drag this out, and I'm gonna get us in front of a new judge, no matter what. This is a conflict of interest. Mr. Hoffman has a bias from the first time. We've asked for a different judge so we can get an objective judge, somebody that's not got any emotion involved from a previous case, a serious case. We want a fresh look at this, and we're gonna get it. Uh, and I'm gonna. So that's part of the reason I need the extra money. I need you to get involved in some sort of that DVD program at that Nystrom's. That's a great idea, and I would recommend possibly. They used to have this place in UA Roseville where you could go and pay them, start getting some legal. I can submit that so we can show that you're already not using drugs and alcohol, because it's kind of serious. So we can do that if you want to get into some AA, because just anything you can think of, any programming will help me. You should do that and make sure, and I need that money. And then, like I said, I didn't, you know, it's my ethics because I took that bar exam, and I'm in this car right now because I don't want anybody to know what I'm saying, because it's going against my personal beliefs right now. But I have this thing called a job and ethics, and I'm a lawyer. And I've decided that I'll go ahead and not give you your money back and withdraw, and I'll go ahead and try, since you're being respectful and you think I'm really cool with that cannon down there. And we're never going fishing, but and I think you'd probably be better with that bow and arrow, buddy. But that ain't what this is about. This is about ethics. And so you're gonna give me that money, and I think I could either way. If I got to take this to trial, I'm about 90% sure they're gonna not want to mess with me in a trial. Take the time. There's a lot. He's gonna eventually agree at some point to some sort of disorderly conduct. I don't probably no jail time, but you're gonna have to go back and hang out with that Shannon and her donuts for a while and stay out of trouble. And I'd start thinking about getting the hell out of there, because it seemed like they got a hard on for you. So I'm way down here. And I know you like me because you keep looking at me like I gotta be in GQ, and I know I'm kind of cool. I went to Drake, and my wife was really hot, and I drive these cars and stuff, and I know these Wagner's hoes, and we go over to that Legion there and have a drink once in a while. And we know everybody down here. Oh, did my face is plastered all over the billboards, and I'm gonna own this building one day as soon as old Wagner. See that? See that cannon? I'm gonna get another one, and this is gonna be my place one day. I understand. I should have went to law. I always wanted to be a lawyer or a veterinarian, Tony. And I really like you, and I'm really thankful for everything you did. And I really appreciate that, even though you set your personal biases away, that you didn't make me spend 2 weeks till the day before figuring out that didn't make any difference. And you knew it along the whole time. And so you didn't follow the ethics, and you didn't tell me, hey, you're not like a cat that with its eyes glazed open, a lost cause, but I'm going to do my job ethically because I took this thing called the bar exam. And I could have withdrawn so that I don't have a conflict of interest, but I like your mother, and I think maybe you got a chance, and you really want that gal with that dress. You like the ankles or the all the way down? Yeah, and them chopsticks with the yarn, and the fishing's really good up about 4 hours that way. And you don't want that Leslie. You don't want to go up there. So I'll do what I can. I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost us some more money. Just want you to know, but we'll take care of this if you want, if you got the money. Well, I'm gonna go back here, and not you're not gonna call me no more because you know what I'm doing. So there's no more questions. So you don't have to call me and ask me for anything except where do I send the money and where do you want me to meet you to drop the payment off? And that way I'm not gonna accuse you of bothering you. When you call me to ask me for you, I want you to ask my questions right now because I get really irritated, and I'm gonna make the whole world that's reading my text messages think not only should there be a no contact order, but now maybe we should take one out on me. Because I think you're harassing me now, right? Because you wouldn't tell me that this is bow and arrows, butter knives, buddy, and it hurts my feelings. Because how do you trust somebody that comes out with a 15-foot crowbar after all that? And how do you trust anybody that was going to let you plead guilty to that thinking, oh my goodness? And then I would have finally dug, I would have went to go deer hunting and found that out. And that's life. That's bow and arrows, butter knives. And if you ever wonder why, come on. I don't know why. So it's called ethics. You know? If you're that bothered by doing your job, you say, I can't do this. You don't go vigilante thinking you're doing society a favor or me a favor. You do your job against the law and you didn't. And you almost ruined my life for my goals because I almost thought I was getting a really good deal. But I sat and read for 15, and there's one little clause. If you dig down in the statute and you're really patient, remember I got that ADD and I'm really upset about all the stuff in this floor, so I really can't focus at all, so I barely found it. And then when I question you, then you get mad at me because you didn't tell me about it. And I'm smart enough because remember, I'm not admittable, certifiable, or mentally ill because I know Hoffman's probably listening on them, just waiting for me to be rude. And you're looking at me like, I dare you. So you say, hold on. And you come back and you stall for about 5 minutes, just waiting for me to say one little thing. And I'm smart enough to know that if you got anything, I better be quiet. Right? I'm not stupid enough to start a fight with you in the courthouse. But I'm pretty mad. I'm hurt. Because how do you trust somebody? It's one thing. And if anybody disagrees with me, don't call me. Don't say a word to me. Because I'm right. And you ain't my wife. And you know what? And you come back and finally, by the grace of God, I guess. And then this other thing. So then what do? I let it go because I really, really care about you. I think you're a nice, you got that cannon, whatever, right? And then we go through the whole thing again, the UAs every day, giving my firstborn. Of course, I get through it. I go to 1 year, I've got the greatest attendance record of all time. I mean, they're doing them UAs left and right. They got the polar bear watching me. I mean, barely. And then all of a sudden, remember? So now I figured I'd. So Nick, you're in this. You didn't all of a sudden get interested in going to get a duck call anytime? No. Okay, I'm glad we got that out of the way. And what's the yeah? So you're not probably not going to be out raising your voice too much anymore, right? No. And you're like, well, what's left? Well, I managed by the grace of God that since it's not, because for some reason, if them gals that'll get it if you're if you're real nice to them, and every once in a while they get a little treat, they're getting that dress for you, not very often. And if you're real nice, they'll get them little sticks out with that yarn and start spinning that for you. Yeah, and oh boy, then after that you're going fishing up that way about 4 hours. Yeah, they tend to like to have a little more than bow and arrows and butter knives, I'm just saying. And so I'm thinking, well, that beard, all that paranoid about getting a little bag of weed back 20, you're getting a little gray hair, now it's legal, it's on the corner, probably cops doing it. That punk over there does it, calls the police on me. You wonder why I'm a little worried? And you say, well, you're aging out. You're getting old. Kind of ugly, pretty stupid. Your lawyer thinks you're absolutely retarded, but you're going to be okay. And you're going to overlook it because all the times he got you out of stuff and you really like him, and he's got that cool cannon. And you just kind of like Asian people a little bit. You always got along with them. And so you're like, hey, can you help? I got these polar bears again, and you call, and he's mad because last time, the only way, and if you ever wonder why I filled up your voicemail, are you serious? Because you were going to allow me to plead to a fifth degree after telling you after Butcher Bob 100 times I told him how important it is we don't scratch this thing. And the guy comes with a 15-foot crowbar. I turn around to get him a Mountain Dew, and I tell you, and you don't ever wonder why I fill up your voicemail. We get over that, and I call you up and I say, I got this polar bear want to eat me because I talked to, And you're like, who's that? And you're already mad from last time, so I'm already worried. And I mean, obviously, if you can see what they're doing to me, they just won't stop. And it wasn't even that. It was when I finally called, when I asked you I text you, I said, hey, will you send me I don't have the final paperwork. I reset my computer. Will you send it? And you tell me, I send a second message and you tell me I'm bothering you or I'm harassing you. And you're my lawyer. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And I'm thinking, I just want my paper so I know what's in there. I trust you mostly, but remember, they write it up. I can't even go outside. And then you got, if anybody's reading this, they're thinking I'm bothering you too, and I'm already on this here. How can you say something to me like that? How could you trust anybody? And then I ain't got nobody. But I'd rather have only God than have a guy tell me that I'm bothering them. And that's the truth. And why you don't like me, I guess that's fine. But I guess the lesson is, kids, is that if somebody don't like you that bad, then they should probably just say go, even though nobody's might not help you. I don't know. It's pretty miserable. And the worst is, once again, I feel like even though you don't even like to go fishing because you're kind of really cool Asian guy. Yeah, like some of them other ones I used to fish with down there. You're more driving a BMW, right? But now I feel like I lost a friend. And it stinks because these polar bears are still after me. And I'm still up in their area, and you don't know any polar bears up here, and you couldn't help me anyways. But you did that. Why you would even, why you were gonna allow me to ruin my life when you know my dreams and my goals based on what you think's good for me in society or something, and I'm paying you thousands of dollars or whoever is. Man, that frustrates me. And if you think somebody should trust you after that, no, not me. Especially when I ask you, and then you ignore me and you tell me I'm bothering you. And the reason you're doing it is everybody else, like 10, you want me to do something where, I don't know, do you want me to do something that really looks crazy so you can show everybody that you were right? Or what? What else could it be other than the devil himself? Because, it was so unethical. Can you imagine? I'd have no recourse. You're not ever getting that taken off. And so if you think, if you have anybody ever wonders why, don't ever bring, I wouldn't dare with, little Matthew running around. I might be on this, whatever. If you think I'm ever going to get anywhere near a drop of alcohol, or you bring that it's federally illegal, you'd have to be absolutely retarded to have a bow and arrow and marijuana. No. But you got your cannon, remember? Like all them other people they got the cannons, so you ain't sure about me, so you think you can just vigilante will do what's good for him without completely informing me what the implications are? Are you serious? And then I text you and you ignore me and tell me I'm bothering you. And you wonder why I'm done. Like you were done a long time ago, but now, and there's no polar bears to help me, so the only thing I can do is never break the law and read that Bible, study accounting. And yeah, you guessed it. I probably won't call you if I get in a car accident. And I lost a friend. Because I know you could charge a lot more money, and there's a lot of people that need help. And you're a pretty good lawyer, and a lot of people like you, and they know you. Maybe you don't have as much control over the polar bear up here as you down, but you did a lot for me. Why you couldn't just be honest and either back out or say, hey, this is what's going to happen. You better not do that if that's what you're trying to do. Why were you not ethical when you know it? That's not how we operate in America. That's not our law system. That's like Venezuela. That's somewhere else, not here. And then you got here we go with the audacity to tell me that I'm bothering you when I ask you for my files. I'm afraid to even call you because you'll have them thinking we need another no contact order. It's insanity. I swear to God, I've told the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And I'm pretty much sick of talking. And I've done nothing really. And I don't know what God wants in my life. And now all I did was try to say, hey, get up down there with Christian Leitner and at least try a free throw. And that's what I did. And I didn't do it right. And maybe I said a couple words. But what you read in that stuff about me That's some stuff that gets people killed, murdered. You get people driving around in flatbeds following you from there to there to there. That you got Whitey Bulger up there, or Whitey the detective, sitting behind you for 6 hours, just waiting for you to text because they think you're that stupid. Gosh. All the people, how could you hate be after somebody so bad? Because remember, we all like naked ladies. Yeah. And I ain't never looked at one at any library. I've never done that. You know why? Because I'm a gentleman. And I would feel weird with people around looking at pornography in a public place who not only where children could walk, but anybody. Because remember, my grandma's Lois Dahlheimer, my grandpa's Gordy Dahlheimer, and my mom's Martha. And they didn't raise me like that to feel that comfortable. If you were gonna make a mistake or a sin like that, you better do it in your house or something. You don't do that out with strangers, do you? Certainly not up around here, do you? I don't think so. Do you think you'd save that for that punk across the street? Now he's casing my house with his brother? And you wonder why I'm talking? No, you don't. What is this? Allegedly, this is a weapon, folks. These people are. I just want to go, but I don't want to leave Mama. And I don't want to leave half the kingdom. And I can't figure out what God brought me up here for. But it sure as hell wasn't to meet anybody in law enforcement, I guarantee you that. And why? There's no way I deserve all this crap. And I'd go in a moment. But I'm afraid my mom is getting so old. She's a rough old bird. Grandpa Harold, he would have lived to be 100. He lived deep into his 90s. Grandma went, but she's got Grandpa's tenacity, and she might make it a while, but she's been sucking on them cigarettes. So I don't know how long her lungs are gonna last, and I want to be here because she'll know if she called me, and I'll hear it in her voice. You got to come give your mommy a kiss. Goodbye. You better come over. Give me a hug and a kiss, and I love you, and I got you. And you know what else? Every time I do something, I think about all those sacrifices that she made, or helped me, or Tony did, or these people that got me to the point where I don't have a felony, and I'm surrounded by people that are constantly after me, like this punk pot smoker. I mean, that one really gets in my craw. So that I did, maybe, just maybe, because remember Michael Jordan said, if you lose that hope, that's about the size of the cut in the concrete under the cubby hole, about that long. Remember that? Not like that. That's about the hope I got that there's ever gonna be half the kingdom. And should I ever put one of them pretty dresses on for me, would get them sticks out with that yarn and go fishing with me? I've had enough if you can't figure it out. And I don't want to go to jail, but that's the truth. And I guess if they're gonna get me now, I mean, it's nothing but Satan. But I didn't do anything other than tell the truth. I didn't open the door for the devil because sin croucheth at the door, waiting. Remember that? Like the devil is like a roaring lion seeking whom he shall devour. Remember that? Yeah, I didn't believe it was that bad, especially up here around these parts. But the truth is, we're all people. We all got stuff in our past. And what I've done, I'm a Boy Scout singing choir boy compared to most of the people. And they just keep going. Because they ain't got nothing better to do or something. I don't know. And then everybody, the lawyer thinks he's. You left me no choice. Because if they look at your text message, they think I'm bothering you, or look at all these voice messages. If anyone ever wonders why all the voice messages with Mr. Ho, well, you ask him, how come you didn't inform him of what the fifth degree means? Sounds pretty good. But oh, did you tell him ever even make him possibly think? He had to do his own. He paid you, and then he had to do his own research when you. Man, I mean, it's only the grace of God. So, what you do, where you go, I don't know. But, again, I don't hear any voices. I don't have any mental illness. I'm not a threat to myself. I'm not even angry. I'm not mad at anybody, really. It's just amazing, that frustration. And I'm hurt. I'm sad about Tony. And I'm sick of getting eaten by polar bears and little tiny little polar bears that are unworthy as all hell. And really, I don't know what else I could do to please God, really. So I can't be much better. I try to be perfect, but you guessed it. Without half the kingdom, you're gonna think about a naked lady once in a while, and you might, yep, you know. I guess if you get half the kingdom, you got half the chance. But if you ain't, it's always gonna be a struggle, I suppose. But you ain't never caught me doing anything weird in town on a computer, my own computer, on any county network, nothing. Go ahead, bring in the FBI forensic team up or anything I ever on a computer. So why you keep doing that other than the system? And they just want to keep people because that's big money. We got people up there and probation officers that want to sit there and have jelly juice donuts and powder, and they want to sit outside their car getting a hard on for me, waiting for me to screw up when I never did and was never gonna, never will. And the devil himself will have to come get me because I am never touching alcohol or abusing an illegal drug or marijuana or anything. I'm gonna try and keep study and be there for mama. And I don't know how, unless I'm telling you, at this point, I know I ain't looking for I ain't interested. I ain't in the market for a duck call. And it's loud and clear. I'm not gonna be getting too angry or yelling at anybody, certainly not in public. And I don't, unless half the kingdom show up in that dress all the way to the floor, and she's carrying them sticks with her with a salad, and she got like a marriage contract saying, "Here's the dotted line, and you're the one. Let's go." I don't know how I would ever trust anybody ever again, because anybody can go in your DM, and you don't know who you're talking about. It could be the polar bear. They can do anything with this here, and they seem to be relentless after me. And I don't know why, because I know for a fact I'm probably better than most people, worse and some. Pretty average. A lot of us have struggled. Again, there's nothing new under the sun, the Bible says. Okay? And again, it goes back to when you don't sin. I'm not saying, the obvious ones, cussing, swearing, getting it unjustified. Even Jesus had righteous anger. But if you don't open the door with alcohol or pot or any illegal drug, and you read your Bible and you pray and you pray without ceasing, and you have integrity and you don't bother people, I guess you with all the with all the starving people and people suffering in the world, you got nothing to worry about because you left it all out on the court. And you said, hey, I got up there and shot a free throw, Leitner. Thanks, buddy. I'll remember that. I might see you once in a while when you come up here and go fishing on the show. But thanks. I appreciate you letting me get up there and shoot a free throw. Maybe I didn't make it or she didn't like it or whatever. Doesn't matter, but I tried. And I can live with that and know that I'm not doing anything wrong and that there ain't a whole lot more you can do. You only got so much power. It says that's the frustrating thing. The powers that are here are placed here by God. We know that, right? And we're the authorities. And all this here praying for them when they do what they do, turning the other cheek. I don't know. I mean, I ain't so good at that because I just want to hang out with half the kingdom and go fishing, man. I don't want all these problems no more. I'm too old for this crap. Too old to get lied about, too old to be lied to. I pay you $10,000 to tell me this stuff so I can study accounting because you went to school to law because you know that. And I got to sit here because double. What if? So you don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. Can I control? No, I'm not in power. Whatever but I can be confident that whatever happens, whatever it is, God, I did everything I could to have integrity to God, and whatever God does, you can't argue with God. It's whatever He allows to happen. It is what they like they say, it is what it is, and with that you have to live with it. There's a lot of crazy stuff and crazy people that'll come over. You never even seen him or met him, and he's gonna stick his nose about some drywall with this and start taking my garbage out and setting it on the ground and then call the police on me. And now there's another report up at Home Depot because y'all came in with the SWAT team that I didn't even know about till Hoyer. Huh, yeah, then I'm acting suspiciously. I bought an axe because I figure what can I have that they aren't going to come in with the SWAT team again. It's practical. I could say, hey, I'm remember that on the farm I used to. It's just one thing after another. I might want to chop some wood. And hey, if a bad guy come in at night, and you remember how you came in here with that SWAT team and almost murdered me with 500 Tri-County with a sheriff up there in Chisago County, who you're gonna tell me threw away his career for some gal in the office? Yeah, right. And now old Hoyer's looking at it again. He go, remember that 10-year squeaky clean? You're starting over because some moron over there come and mess with me because he's high on pot, listening to that filthy rap music while his drunk mom talks to him. And he comes over here and causes me more problems and calls the cops on me. And now another person's up. I go up and buy an axe because remember, we're in Washington. This is supposed to be, you're supposed to build a defense. So I got an axe. But apparently there should be a police report again, and then you add all the libraries and all this bull crap. It just won't stop. It's absolutely a conspiracy. If you watch all my videos, and now I don't know exactly. I've tried. All I know, as far as I have not reached out to anybody directly or indirectly about anything. Nobody specifically. I have tried to talk in general about my life and the facts to what I've done in case they frame me and I end up and they haul me back in and I can't make a phone call. I can't call Ho. At least there's some video here. Somebody in the world might somehow say, get this to anybody, that there would be anybody anywhere. I don't know. But somebody will know maybe and be able to tell my story and go, look what they did to that guy. And hey, again, it's not, it don't feel right. It don't feel good. But there's no other bigger command than alcohol, a warning, and you wonder why. I'm wondering why are there so many uh, Christians drinking? If that, the only other thing is fear. Remember, again, if you don't do what I found is if you don't do the alcohol, you really got nothing to fear. Because if you're one of God's people, He puts some, peculiar. There's something in between you and God and His people that if you do that, the devil takes over and you get uncomfortable. And then the fear sets in, and then the devil knows it, and that's when the devil comes to pick you up because he knows he's got you in that. He's got you on the alcohol and you're in fear, and he owns you. But if you don't do that, you don't have to fear. If he decides to come get you, then he's dealing with God. And if God allows it, you can't fight God. So as long as you do everything you're supposed to do, what else is there to think about or worry about? You've done everything you can. And I'm sick of it. And I thought, well, he wouldn't defend me. They keep lying. I might as well try and tell the truth without reaching out. I'm not going after nobody. Hey, you can't be any more clear to me. If you're going to write all that they wrote, and if you read the facts, it's pretty obvious you don't want nothing to do with me or whoever. Whoever wrote it, they're getting rid of me, almost to the point like they want to murder me. And I've had enough because I didn't do it. And I can't get Ho to send me even the final. I don't even know what's in the final order. I got the hard copy somewhere, but I can't find it. All I know, I take him for his word that I can, you stay out of his yard because he's got infrared cameras just waiting. And every time I go out there, he's staring at me. I go out once a week, 3 weeks, and he's out there staring at me, waiting for me to come in his yard so he can get it on the cam and put me in the can. What the hell is going on? Why? It's got to be this. I must be a lot better than I thought, actually. Because whatever. I don't know what else to say. I told the truth. Now I got a headache. So I guess I just try. I have to keep staying out of trouble because yeah. Can you imagine if they could if you could convince a couple of them big black guys, them 600-pounders, that I actually did that I treated girls like that after she asked me to stop. You deserve to be beat up. You really probably do. If your girl tell you to quit, you didn't. Yeah, probably because you don't mess with girls and you don't mess with children or you're gonna have a bad day. And I didn't do either. I don't care. I didn't I didn't do either. Well, did you see me up there watching porn with everybody else where the kids are walking by? Bunch of sickos. And then you got them transgender books over there too. I can't believe it. This is the devil. But anyways, that's. I mean, I don't know what else you could possibly really say. I'm sure I'll find something on some other topics, but I don't know what else you could say. You know. Anyways, God, please be over this video and please. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I just ask for your help, Father God, in Jesus Christ, almighty precious name, amen.